Woodward Sports Network presents a sports show that's more than just sports. Welcome to The Bottom Line with U of M great and former NFL star Braylon Edwards and Ryan Ermanni. Sit back and let's talk some Detroit sports right now on The Bottom Line.
And here we go! Tuesday, May 3rd, 2022. Ermanni and Edwards, Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, and look who we have here.
Guess who's Bazak?
Wow! It is Tuesdays with Stan, Mr. Stan Edwards. Good afternoon to you, my friend.
Good afternoon. I begged my doctor to take me off my meds for one day. He agreed, so here I am live in the flesh.
Got a lot to say, Braylon Edwards, today.
Excited to see Pops in the studio, man. He always brings the energy level up, knowing we needed that. Why are people so mean? Like, whether it's traffic lights, whether it's the grocery store, people just cut in front of you. The rude, they don't say thank you when you hold the door open.
Twitter.
If you're Twitter, no rule, don't worry, you were correct. I stand by you, buddy. Now is the time for ball for Aiden Hutchinson. But just anywhere you are, like if you do things in life just to be nice, to get a response from someone, if you hold the door open, if you let somebody in a crowded lane and you let them in, don't wait for them to say thank you, and don't do it for them to say thank you, because they ain't doing it no more. Do it because you're a good person, not because you're waiting for a pat on the back.
So funny, Tom Mazawey. He says, why are people so mean? First guy pops into my head is Adam Baydoun.
How about him? That SOB.
Man, he's interesting.
You know who else is mean? Mother Nature here in Michigan.
Oh, good call.
She sucks.
Good call,
man. Hey, Uncle Mass, it's great to be back to see you. Haven't seen you in a while. Hey, man, I've been trying to get ready for this, and my doggone laptop kind of went out. Had to go over to Geek Squad, and Alexandria Rogic, the over at Geek Squad, helped me out over there. So I am ready to go.
Laptop man.
Well, then let's not, without further ado, let's get into it. So just a couple of show notes today. We got Mike Tannenbaum, Braylon's former general manager, ESPN NFL analyst, and of course former general manager of the Jets and the Dolphins. He'll join us
VP
in the top of hour number 2. But we'll get into this. Stan, I want to hit you with some Lions talk. You're wearing the emblem right there. First and foremost, we talked a little bit yesterday, a lot yesterday, and over the course of the last several weeks and months about this draft. Now that it's said and done, how would you characterize, and they're getting great grades from all the pundits, how would you characterize this draft, Brad Holmes' second draft as Lions general manager?
So it's interesting. I don't know. All the drafts are incomplete right now, to some degree. But based on what we know right now, let me go over the first 3 picks. Because after that, to me, once you get to 3, for me, it's irrelevant. The first pick, Aiden Hutchinson. I give it a B++. A B++ before, not that he's not a good player, not that he's not a tough player. Was he the appropriate player at that position at that time with the appropriate skill set? For me, Aiden is not a A++ because there's some things athletically and skill-wise that he doesn't possess. He doesn't possess the bend that an edge rusher needs, i.e. a Chase Young or the Bosa brothers, where you can go around and tackle and you can almost scrape your hand off the ground and bend and do that. He doesn't have athletic skill. Does he have the grown man Aaron Darnold strength where he can just grab an offensive tackle and throw him around? Time will tell with that. I am not saying that Aiden Hutchinson will not be a good player. I'm not saying he won't be a great player. What I am saying is that where he was picked, I typically would like to see a little bit more of certain things in the skill set perspective. I think he'll be a good player, and I'm his biggest fan.
Who would you have taken?
I would have taken Darryl Stingley Jr.
Wow.
There's film out on him shutting down Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson.
You sound like someone I know.
The reason why the Lions didn't take him, because they were afraid, because they got Jeff Okudah that they took at that position a couple of years ago, which might be a mistake. We still don't know yet. We'll talk about him probably a little bit later. But 3 years ago, if not 4, my years are running together, the St. Louis Cardinals took a quarterback in the first round.
Yep.
Didn't work out.
Josh Rosen.
Guess what they did the very next year?
Took another one.
If you got a player that you know is the player that's going to fulfill your It doesn't matter what you did in the past. You got to go after that player. I think the Lions were borderline. I think a lot of things went into the pick with Aiden Hutchinson. A lot of things. One, hometown favorite, going to sell some jerseys, a good player. Look like he'll be great in the locker room. Look like he'll set the tone. He'll do all of that. Was he the second best player in the draft? I don't think so. I just don't.
A lot of people love Derek Stingley Jr. They also love the mod Sauce Gardner.
Sauce Gardner went 4, and
Yeah.
I just think he has got tremendous upside. For him to have statistics where there's never been a touchdown thrown on him since high school is pretty phenomenal.
Yeah.
Sure
Booker
is.
McFarland made an assessment of him that I thought was pretty interesting.
Love Book.
He uses his hands a great deal and got away with it. He will not be able to get away with that on Sunday. So to the extent that his feet and his hips will bail him out and have him to recover will remain to be seen. I would not have taken him at 4. He's about 12 to 15 for me.
Let me ask you this then about, as we continue on with the Lions picks, because you mentioned Stingley Jr. Stingley Jr. was hurt in college. Jameson Williams, hurt in college. What do you think of players who are injured in college translating to the NFL? It seems like a lot of players who get hurt in college then get hurt in the NFL. Does that bother you at all?
You better have a great medical staff doing your pre-draft evaluation. You have to do that. So I go to my number 2 grade of Jameson Williams. He gets an A++
Wow.
/ incomplete. Is he going to be the next
Man.
Justin Jefferson and
Hell of a
or
grade.
Jamar Chase? We don't really know.
Right.
He has that level of skill, and he was pretty dominant, and he can do everything that you want at an outside the numbers on the line of scrimmage wide receiver. So he could very well be that guy, and that could be the pick that has Brad Holmes in the executive of the year category conversation.
So you love the trade up.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Good.
Because you got Aiden Hutchinson. You need so much. I think when you get a kid that can really change the game, and what Jamar Chase did for Cincinnati, and what Justin Jefferson did for Minnesota, if you can get somebody that can do that, it's kind of hard to pass up. When you get a home run hitter.
The one thing I said about injuries, Dad, you talk about Jameson Williamson. He's coming off injury. He got hurt in the national championship game. If he doesn't get hurt, they win the national championship game because It's pretty much him versus Bama. Him versus Georgia. But we've seen time and time again people get hurt in college and come out and ball in the NFL. I'll give you 3, and I've said 2 of them already, but I got another one I'll add. Look at Frank Gore.
Right.
2 ACLs in college, 1 ACL in the NFL. He's 3rd all-time leading rusher ever. Thomas Davis.
Yeah.
Thomas Davis tears his ACL his junior
Great
year,
points.
and tears his junior year at Georgia. Comes back, has a hell of a year. His senior year, All-American. Look at his career with the Carolina Panthers. I'm talking about Willis McGahee. We saw that injury, arguably the most gruesome injury you'll ever see on a football field. Mike Doss takes his helmet, puts it right on the knee. That's now illegal. Can't do that anymore. Look what he does in the NFL. First year in the league, 1,128 yards. Next year in the league, 1,247 yards. Next year in the league, 990. Next year, 1,207. And then in 2007, I played in the Pro Bowl with him. You can get injured in college. The medicine and the science has only gotten better. You're talking 2002. That national championship game was 2003, excuse me, because it was in January. Medicine and science has only gotten better. We need to stop putting so much emphasis on the injuries because guys are coming in and they're ready. Look at Cam Akers last year. Cam Akers helped the Rams in the playoffs this year after tearing his Achilles last year before the season started.
Just think about this. If Jameson Williams does not get hurt, that would have been an interesting matchup for 4 quarters of him and Sauce Gardner.
Absolutely.
If he doesn't get hurt, Sauce Gardner might not have went 4. He might have went 2 or 1. Or if Jameson Williams does play, Sauce Gardner might slide to 20 because he may have told him it would not have been available at 12 because he'd have been already gone.
You mentioned the top 3 players, okay? That's who you're going to grade. Josh Paschal, defensive end, Kentucky. Look.
Now remember, Ajabo went 1 pick earlier.
Ajabo went 1 pick earlier, but then Nakobe Dean was out there.
Still on the board.
And what's that?
No, I was agreeing with you.
Yeah,
I
cannot wait till we hear what Mike Tannenbaum has to say about Nakobe Dean, too, because he calls Nakobe Dean the steal of the draft, getting him in the 3rd round.
We'll talk quarterbacks with him, too.
We will talk quarterbacks with him, too, but there were a number of ways you could go with that 66th overall selection, or 46th overall selection. They go defensive end Josh Paschal.
So here's what happened. I'm going to come back to Josh Paschal in a second. Here's what happened to Nakobe Dean. It's Devin White.
Yeah.
Devin White
Tampa
is
Bay.
a freak inside backer, an absolute freak.
Tampa Bay sandbacker.
He can cover a back. He can probably cover a tight end. He can cover some wide receivers, and he can stop the run, and he can blitz. He can do everything.
Yeah.
So when you're looking for the next Devin White, Nakobe Dean doesn't hit the skill set like that. But you're talking about smart, get people in position, and can play the run. Sometimes they're not going to have the skill of a Luke Keke. Ray Lewis didn't have great skill. He runs well, but Ray Lewis is not the most talented linebacker in the game. But because he knew what he was and came to play all the time, that's who Nakobe Dean is more like as opposed to Devin White. And because he didn't possess those outstanding measurables and skills, he slid in the draft. Josh Pascal, C. When I watched him on film, I'm not sure what they see. They saw more than I saw, clearly. I'm just not so sure. And again, all of this is conjecture. He may come in and play very well. I didn't see anybody who's listed as an edge that I see. If you want to double Aiden, that this guy is going to go freewheeling and be the David Ajabo to the Aiden Hutchinson was in college. I didn't see it.
Before we throw it to Maz and talk about the good old Folding Full House, I want to ask a question. I want to present this question. Maybe we'll talk about it in the next segment. How much of looking at the rest of the Lions picks after Jamison Williams, everyone was excited about them moving up to number 12, drafting Jamison Williams. Everybody was excited. You got the guy that was right there, Aiden Hutchinson. He was 1A, 1B, him and Thibodeau. You got 1A and Aiden Hutchinson. You got Jamison Williams. How much has been made of the rest of the draft? Because there's some questionable moves. Like Ryan, they didn't attack or they didn't address getting a quarterback. How much of that?
I'll die on my hill with that.
Exactly.
I will die on my hill with that.
And I'm agreeing with you. They don't take Nakobe Dean. They take Josh Pascal. How much of their draft is being overlooked because we're extremely excited that the Lions finally have done something right? How much of that?
We will hit on those elements in the next segment. But first, a message from the Folding Warehouse.
In Hamtramck, Michigan, and of course, a great host, Chris and Noni Hutt, the man who invented the game of folding, the football and bowling game. If you've never done it, today would be a perfect day to do it. Look at that crappy weather out there. Get to the Folding Warehouse. 2 ways to play: $10 unlimited open play or a private lane reservation for at least 10 or 12 of your friends. $120 cost you for the whole 2 hours. That's a great deal. Bring your own food in, have it delivered. They got multiple full bars, over 100 beers to offer, and the $2 mystery beer machine. Get your fold on. Check them out at foldingwarehouse.com.
Cintron is the official energy drink of the Red Wings, proud partners of the Detroit Pistons, and exclusively served at Little Caesars Arena. If you're looking for premium ingredients, long-lasting energy, balanced hydration, essential vitamins, and great taste, Cintron is your top choice.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991, yeah, Detroit fans were there.
Hey guys, welcome back. Woodward Sports Network. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Stan Edwards in the house.
We're talking winning time here.
Winning time, little HBO Max, little Lakers series with my boy Maz, man.
Very good. Braylon, you asked one of the questions before the segment there. Talk about the fact that A, there was no quarterback taken in this draft, and B, really, every pick after Pascal is a crapshoot, right? I mean, you know, the safety from Illinois, the linebacker from Oklahoma State. Right. I mean, we don't know anything about any of these guys. Who's going to guarantee me that the 5th round pick is going to be some stud and you shouldn't go armed there?
Yeah, and there's one thing I thought about. I don't want to go back on my words because I think they had a really good draft, and I actually like the direction they went in. We talked about it yesterday, what they were trying to do with those picks. They're ball hawks. Guys get the ball out. Guys get interceptions. Guys get fumbles, forced fumbles, and forced fumble recoveries. And then also you have leaders. Like you talked about, 7 out of these 8 guys were captains on their football team, so they're going after leaders. With that being said, as I'm looking at it, 46 could have been Nakobe Dean. We've sat here and talked about Nakobe Dean for a very long time.
And we're not the only ones, by the way. NFL general managers,
not at all,
on television and throughout, unless they're lying.
We talked about
how much they love him.
And then they go drop Josh Pascal, guy out of Kentucky. Now, we know he was decent at Kentucky, but Would I have drafted him over Nakobe Dean? No, I wouldn't.
How many great players came out of Kentucky, by the way?
Very true.
Not many, but he still could be the guy, and I don't want to put the school on him. Is why he may not be a good player.
They've been good lately too. Kentucky's been.
Nakobe Dean is hard to pass up if you really, really understand football. And I hate to kind of jump in right now,
go
but
ahead.
this is where Brad Holmes should have made his money. The first 2 picks. Hey, the whole world has done that evaluation for you. Everybody has talked about Aiden Hutchinson. Everybody has talked about Jameson Williamson.
Yeah.
That's not anything new. You don't have to really work out of bed and do earth-shattering stuff by drafting somebody in the top 10. All that stuff has been done for the last 2 years for those people. How about the latter part of the draft? That's when you show your worth. Can you see stuff that other folks don't see? Can you evaluate a player who's playing out of position or playing or been hurt or is undersized or just underdeveloped? That's when you really make your money as a general manager.
To your point, you can't give credit for them drafting Aiden Hutchinson. Congratulations, the number 1 overall graded defensive talent in the draft happens to be there at 2. And oh, by the way, you need a defensive rush in. So you can't give them a great mark on that. I give them a ton of great marks for going after Jameson Williams. That's the guy you wanted. You saw Brad Holmes' elation when they drafted him or when they knew they were going to get him. You saw how excited they were. I like that aggressive move, and I love Jameson Williams. Now you get to the latter part of the draft. Kirby Joseph, I like Kirby Joseph. I told you there's a 2nd-round grade on him coming out of Illinois. But now would you start to go further? At number 177, James Mitchell. He's an injured guy. He's a tight end guy.
Yep.
Don't you have a tight end right now?
Yep.
Don't you have a tight end right now that's a Pro Bowler?
Yeah, you do.
Now you draft a guy at 177. See, 177, there's still a lot of meat on the bone at 177 in the draft. There's still players to be had out there at 177. That's why I'm saying as you start to look at 97 or 46. 97, I like that pick. I don't have a problem with Kirby Joseph. 177, Malcolm Rodriguez, okay, undersized linebacker. I mean, gets to the ball. This is when you really start to get after it a little bit, and you start to break it down. As I'm breaking it down, I say, hey, look, I like the Lions draft, but let's not go overboard and act like they draft 8 of the best players that will ever play in the NFL.
See, a lot of that may have to do with 177. When is T.J. Hawkinson's contract coming up?
This year.
This year.
Oh. Yeah. You want to spend that kind of money on the guy where he was taken. He's only going to go up. Now, he's a good player.
Yeah.
And so this is the Bill Belichick move, and it better work. What they're trying to do is at 177, do we want to pay T.J. Hawkinson 15 or 20 a year at tight end? Because he was a top 10 pick before, and so he's going to command a lot of money. So let's hedge our bets in case we don't want to sign him and we need to reallocate that money elsewhere and get a tight end in his place. I don't know that this kid is the right tight end for that, though. You can find a tight end adequately someplace else, particularly when you don't have your quarterback in place.
Be careful with that Bill Belichick type draft player because it's easy when you draft those random players. Oh, when you got number 12 at quarterback.
Right.
But when you don't have 12 at quarterback,
how's it working out?
Picks like Strong, N'Keal Harry.
Because T.J. Hawkinson has bailed out Jared Goff a few times.
Sure.
And will bail out a lot of quarterbacks.
Look, this whole thing's about Goff.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
You just said, hey, we got our we don't have our quarterback. You just said that, right, Stan?
I believe we don't.
But they think they do.
Does that concern you? And again, I've made a big deal out of the fact that in 8 picks, this team did not pick a quarterback in this draft. I've gotten torched for it online, and fine. I've gotten torched by our own guy, our morning guy, torching me for it. But I don't give a damn because I don't think Jared Goff is the quarterback of the future. I just don't. And we don't know how any one of these players are going to work. We don't know about Wills. We don't know about Ritter. We don't know about any of these guys. How any of them. We really don't know. But I will tell you that you cannot win with Jared Goff making $35, $38, $40 million a year, which he's going to command, in the coming years. And if you think that you could, because you have 2 quarterbacks, 2 first-round picks next year, that you can just go willy-nilly trading up to get your quarterback. You know what teams who need quarterbacks do? They draft quarterbacks. They don't accept your trade.
Right.
If the Houston Texans have the number 1 pick next year, you know what they're not doing? They're not trading with the Detroit Lions despite their 2 first-round picks.
Yeah.
They are selecting Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud or whoever it is. Sorry, my veins are popping out on my head. It's so stupid.
If you don't have a top quarterback, a top-rated quarterback, or a top quarterback in the NFL, you got to draft a quarterback every year. You might draft him at 2, you might draft him at 6, but you got to draft one. If you don't have a quarterback that you know can get you to the Super Bowl, and Jared Goff is not that guy in the Honolulu Blue. That's not who he is here. You got to draft a quarterback. No two ways about it.
I don't mind drafting the quarterback, and that's also why I say you got to reevaluate the Detroit Lions overall draft. I still give them a B+. I still give them a B+. I don't even mind people giving them an A-, but I do agree you had to draft the quarterback. You had opportunities to draft the quarterback at 46. Some good quarterbacks at 46. Got a quarterback that you wanted at 46. But with that being said, they're building the future. They're building the foundation, and I can see it. Listen here, Jared Goff ain't commanding no $38 million. I don't care what somebody told you.
He makes 31 now.
He makes 31 now. I guarantee he won't make $1 more than that if I'm extending him as the Detroit Lions. We're building a foundation, building it in place. If we don't get a quarterback next year and we stick with Jared Goff, I'm not paying him 31. I guarantee he'll be happy to take what we give him.
Here's what I think.
Because if you go from 31, I'm sorry, Dave. You go from 31. You go from 31. No one thinks you're the answer. No one thinks you. Let's say the Detroit Lions offer him 25. Hey, we'll give you 25 an extension to be the guy. Nobody else in the league is going to pay him 25. That's why I'm saying you can build through the team because they're not going to the Super Bowl within the next 4 years.
What if he wins a play? Drafted Mac Jones. You know what they did this year with their 4th round pick?
Quarterback.
They drafted a quarterback.
Absolutely.
Damn good one, by the way.
Yeah.
Bailey Zappi.
I mean, either way, I find it remarkable that we're still in this spot. Guys, Jameson Williams, widely believed to be just a great selection, right?
Yeah.
You trade up and it's a great selection, but that almost didn't happen because apparently the Lions offered the San Francisco 49ers picks 32 and 66 for Deebo Samuel. So you would have to essentially then pay $110 million over 5 years for Deebo, right?
Yep.
So would you, I'm going to ask you, we're going to go to a break. Would you rather have Jameson Williams?
Yeah.
Or would you rather, I guess you'd have Jameson Williams
on a rookie deal
and Josh Pascal, or Deebo Samuel for $110 million? I'm going to ask you guys that question next. We'll get to it next. Ermanni and Edwards.
But first, a word from Les Stanford.
That's right, Les Stanford. It is no secret that new cars are hard to come by, but they are available at Les Stanford. You've got to make a plan, though. Allocation coming in for lease or purchase of new vehicles. Les Stanford also has over 350 pre-owned cars on their lot right now. All makes, all models, all years. Some of them with less than 500 miles on them, so they're like new. For more, visit LesStanford.com. LesStanford.com.
Find new roads.
6 dark corners, a driveway and a patio, 5 windows that could become doors. Every house has unique security challenges. Guardian Alarm has more tech, more team, and more ways to help keep them all safe. Get a professionally designed and installed security and smart home system from Guardian Alarm. Sign up today and get a free video device. Guardian Alarm. Smart, right from the start. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
And the minor league.
Right now for $0 down or $10 a month and $10 a month. Excuse me, you can get a membership to Planet Fitness where your fitness is essential. If you want to look good, you want to be in shape like my pops was like right there to my left, then you gotta go down to Planet Fitness and get yourself in shape. $22.99 if you want to ball out, get a black card. 2,000 locations worldwide. Guess what? You have access to all of them. And also, every time you go, you can bring a new guest with you free of charge. Sounds like 2 memberships to me. Planet Fitness is the place. Sign in person, $0 down, or on planetfitness.com.
All right, gang, if you're watching on Facebook or Twitter, we're going to ask you to move exclusively over to YouTube right now. Our Woodward Sports page on YouTube, that's where we'll be. Check back to Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, TikTok as well for individual clips that we'll put out throughout the show. But the live stream will end. You can move over to YouTube right now. And if you're watching on YouTube, we invite you to smash that like button.
Smash it.
Smash it. Let's get over 100 likes before the segment is over. I want to ask you about Deebo Samuel, guys, because Jameson Williams almost didn't have Jameson Williams. God, this Jameis Winston, Jameson Williams screws me up.
Just think about the whiskey.
Right. Jameson Williams almost didn't happen. That is because apparently the Lions offered 32 and 66 for Deebo Samuel. And then essentially you would have had to pay Deebo 5 years, $110 million. So would you rather have Deebo Samuel, 5 years, $110 million, or would you rather have Jameson Williams and Josh Paschal on your team?
Not
both
necessarily
rookie
Paschal,
deals.
because they'd be picking at 34.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
So they got a higher pick.
There you go. Good for you.
Well,
go first.
My take on it is Deebo Samuels is not worth $100 million. He is not that kind of receiver. He's a good receiver. I'm a fan of his. But for this franchise, a Deebo Samuels type receiver at that cost, absolutely not. For two reasons. One, you still don't have a quarterback. Why are you paying a receiver that kind of money? You're not sure what you're doing with your quarterback. Number two, which is really 1A, is there's too many good wide receivers coming out of college every year. That is a high-profile position. That is a position where you look at what's been coming out in the draft in the last 2 or 3 years. You can, once you get your quarterback set, you can get a top-notch receiver coming into the league sometime soon, or a number two from someplace else to come in and be very productive.
I echo my dad's sentiments. I'll add a little something to that. Deebo Samuel is a decent receiver. He's a good receiver. He's a good receiver. I haven't seen anything out of just the receiver position that he was great at last year. Like Dad said, nothing about what he did just at the receiver position made him a $100 million wide receiver. Now, when you want to add in what what Kyle Shanahan was able to do in terms of adding him as a running back, adding him as a jet sweep wide receiver, adding him as a running back screen wide receiver, adding all the nuances and the tangibles that they did in the second half of the season when they really started to have success, and then in the playoffs where they really started cooking with grease, he is a $100 million player. The problem is he don't want to be that $100 million player because he just wants to play wide receiver. He didn't like how they used him, and I understand that because it's taking years off his life.
He got creamed.
But Deebo Samuel, when you were doing that, that's when people started to notice you. That's when the whole world took notice of number 19 for the 49ers. You don't want to be that, that's fine. You ain't getting my $100 million. Deebo Samuel, without that extra stuff, is not a $100 million player.
That's the whole point right there, Bray, because,
so,
that's
to answer your question, I'm fine with Jameson Williams.
Look, Deebo
I saw him at the end of the year, Deebo. He was a beaten man
and
coming off the field.
And understandably, Baz,
he took
that's why he doesn't want to do that.
And earlier every year.
That's why he doesn't want to be that guy.
He's no Hines Ward. That's what he plays like.
At the same time, if you're telling me that Deebo Samuel doesn't want to be Deebo Samuel, he just wants to be the wide receiver, he doesn't want to be that slash guy.
And he gets half.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not paying him $100 million for that. I consider it if he embraced his role. And just to use a Maz reference, that's like Adam West not wanting to be known for Batman.
Exactly. Deebo Samuel has not known that he can control the game outside the numbers, strictly when it's routes, getting in and out of breaks, creating separation, and taking over game, just as a outside wide receiver. He hasn't shown that he can do that for that price. That's
real. I mean, at the end of the day, everybody thinks it's easy to play wide receiver in the league now. That's why so many of them coming out. Like Deebo Samuel's a pretty good wide receiver. He had his coming out party last week. Guess who? Against the Detroit Lions. So we watched him closely last year, but he's not a $100 million player. I take that back. He's not a $100 million wide receiver.
Right.
He's a $100 million player.
Are you guys surprised? Stan, I'll come to you with this. Are you guys surprised? Are you surprised, Stan, at how the wide receiver position is viewed now? I believe if you average the top 15 players at each position, wide receiver salaries are now second only to quarterbacks. So the general managers in the NFL are putting a heavy emphasis on that position. Are you surprised how far it's come?
A little bit.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say that is when I looked at the top 5 or 6 wide receivers drafted, the 4 or 5 that went in the first round and the few that went in the second round, in the first round, you had one wide receiver over the height of 6 feet and over 200 pounds, and that's the kid from USC.
Drake London.
Being 6'5". All the other guys, and I reminded my last child, Braylon Edwards, the same size. These guys are about between 5'11" and 6'1", between 175 pounds and 190 pounds. It's about getting in and out of your cuts, being able to decelerate and being acrobatic enough to catch the difficult pass. And all these guys can do that. So the wide receiver position is really becoming the cornerback of the offense. The best athlete on the field now is starting to be the wide receiver because they can do a number of things when you got guys that – so Keenan Allen is a great example for me. He lacks one thing. Speed. And that's to open up and take it off the top.
$20 million player.
But
would be
other things that he can do,
he
can do it as almost in it. He can be ad-lib. He can stand there and shake, do all that, and stay on schedule and still be where he's supposed to be for a quarterback.
Arguably runs the best routes in the NFL.
Yes, he does.
A lot of those Alabama guys run great routes, too. That's what I like about Jameson Williams. You look at Julio Jones and then Calvin Ridley, Amari Cooper. They all run great routes. I will say this, too. You mentioned college wide receivers. College wide receivers, too, might be one of the most skilled position coming out of college right now. So you see what the Tennessee Titans did with A.J. Brown. They're like, why pay this guy $25 million a year?
Right.
Well, we can get a shiny new piece in the draft.
Absolutely. And that's why I think that we did get Jameson Williams, that we didn't need Deebo Samuels, because there's going to be some young wide receivers that's coming up that we can get that's going to be almost as productive, but a heck of a lot less to pay.
I want to mention this, Stan, and I've mentioned this to the boys before, and I'm hesitant about taking a guy that has an injury. And I know Braylon's already schooled me on the ACL. It's not like it used to be. It's like Tommy John surgery for a pitcher now. It's like nothing. But look at the Saints at 11.
Yeah.
They could have had Jameson Williams.
Yeah, they could have.
They took Chris Olave.
Right.
And the reason they took it, you hear Mel Kiper, you hear Todd McShay.
Who the hell is Mel Kiper?
Todd. You hear because they didn't want to chance the injury because Jameson grades higher than all the receivers when it came down to it if he was healthy. So what's your take on that?
When I graded James Williams as the live lineman, I had A++/incomplete. We're assuming because medical technology has all these other players coming back in a short amount of time that the same thing's going to happen to him. We don't know. And I'm like you, I don't know that I would not have, if I'm the New Orleans Saints, I don't know that I wouldn't make the same move because I'm like, hey, before he got hurt, he was something special. He was the next Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase. But he is injured, and so we have to take that in strong consideration.
I'm glad Brad Holmes did what he did. I'm glad the Lions are being talked about. They shook up the draft.
They did.
They really pulled the rug out, maybe from Green Bay, because maybe the Packers.
7-win football team.
Maybe the Packers were looking to maybe move up and get that kid.
Right.
And you play a keep away. They did deal with Minnesota, which shocks me. A team in your own division. In the old days, that would never happen. You don't make deals. No. Now they're making them like you're doing laundry.
Yeah. They have a new front office over there in Minnesota, and Braylon is familiar with some of those guys over there. It'll be interesting to see that. When I found out where they got the from, I was like, wait a minute, are they okay with that? Yeah. Is that not going to come back to haunt them? But time will tell.
So all the geniuses that do the commenting on the that are just killing
Twitter,
us,
YouTube,
killing us on the
Adam gang.
The Adams gang, Adam Baydoun's gang, killing us for wanting the quarterback.
Yeah.
They want a quarterback next year.
Okay.
In the same sentence, they, guys like Adam, they'll say, well, they expect the Lions to win 6 to 9 games next year. So
therefore, the good quarterbacks are going to be gone.
They're going to be gone anyway. So I want your take on that. And is there a number that you think Dan Campbell has to win? Look, if Dan Campbell wins 4 games next year, I think he's out, to be honest with you. No. I think if Dan Campbell goes 4-13 next year, and you can go get your quarterback at that point, I think he's gone. Do you think there's a number of wins next year that he has to win?
I think there is, but let me come back to the other point first. Because, and I heard all this talk prior to the draft, this is not a quarterback draft. So, Pickett and Malik Willis, all those guys, they're not franchise quarterbacks. How many years have we seen this is a great quarterback draft and 1 or 2 of them really pan out?
Yeah.
So you just don't know. Because they're better quarterbacks next year, all of them may flame out and not be good. You got to take the best quarterback available sometime in the draft if you don't have a top 10 quarterback as your starter. Dan Campbell. I think he will probably win 4 games. I do. If he wins just 4 or less, does he keep his job? I think He's a unique personality. His team was exciting to watch, not just as a Lions fan. People talked about that around the country.
Yeah.
So I think that's enough for him to go to see year number 3.
I believe they can and will win if healthy. If healthy, Braylon. I think they can win 10 games next year.
I mean, it's a possibility. Anything's a possibility, for the most part. So I get that. You have a puncher's chance always. I don't think they will. I don't think they're ready to win 10 games. You saw that last year. You'll see a little bit of that this year. I think 8 is more realistic. But with that being said, just talking about it yesterday, we talked about it yesterday, we'll talk about it again. You said, is there a number of games? That answer is 0. 0 is the only amount of games he can win, because there's technically no wins, that he'll get fired. Outside of that, they're building too much. You watch what they did last year. You see the excitement. Like Dad said, they were a fun team to watch. Whether they were winning or losing, you see them get their first win. You see the excitement. You see the cohesiveness of the front office and the coach at the same time. Sheila Ham, you see the draft this year, the draft last year. You got Hard Knocks coming up this year. Then you have the draft in 2024. It'd be kind of hard to fire a guy after you had him on Hard Knocks. So I think they're moving in the right direction. If he goes 0-17, they will fire him. Outside of that, Dan Campbell will be your coach moving into 2023.
Can't wait till Malik Willis leads the Tennessee Titans to a freaking Super Bowl.
Me too. I love Kenny Pickett too.
I can't wait.
Malik or will it be Derrick Henry?
Guys, big news regarding this name, image, likeness. I want to get to that. Hunter Dickinson says the University of Michigan football and basketball potentially going to be really missing out on some guys, and he laid it out for us as well in a recent interview. We'll have that for you. But first, the message from Lady Jane's. As you know, we broadcast this show live from the headquarters of Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men in Birmingham, Michigan. It's definitely an awesome place to get off the air and walk up and get my hair looking handsome and clean. Ooh, we highly recommend Lady Jane's near you. Over 100 locations nationwide. 7 days a week they're open, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Walk in anytime, sign in, sit down. Before you know it, you are handsome and clean. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome. Wicked.
It took exploring 50 different formulas and hosting countless taste tests, but we believe Gypsy Vodka is the smoothest vodka on the market. Don't believe us? Ask the owners.
We're Mike and Adam Kazanowski with High Five Spirits Distillery. We're in close to about 1,200 locations throughout Michigan. We wanted to create a brand that was geared more towards freedom, love, adventure, and at the end of the day, we really wanted to tell a story that inspired other people to take risks, follow their dreams, whatever that might be.
The official sticker partner of Woodward Sports. When it comes to stickers and signage, think Sticker Genius. We support this local Detroit business, and we are excited to show you our latest project, the Planet Fitness Studio from Sticker Genius. If you need custom stickers, wall graphics, window graphics, and plenty more, reach out to our friends at Sticker Genius. We at Woodward Sports couldn't be any happier with the service they provided us. They were quick, easy to deal with, and super professional. Head to stickergenius.com today. Our friends at Alta Equipment know that when it comes to getting your job completed on budget and on schedule, uptime matters. That's why Alta Equipment has partnered with the biggest names in construction. With the most diverse rental fleet in Michigan, there is nothing your project can throw at you that Alta can't handle. Give them a call at 844-GO-TO-ALTA today. That is 844-GO-TO, the number ALTA today. Alta Equipment, where uptime matters.
Woodward Sports Network, Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Stan Edwards in the house. We've got Sam Fletch running the show today. Alex Mayer in the background. And, of course, as always, the great Tom Mazawey. Guys, this name, image, likeness in college sports
is a disaster.
And it has become a disaster. And before we hear from former Notre Dame star Aaron Taylor in his video that's been viewed over 1 million times, I don't know what the solution is, and I probably would feel a little different if I played the sport and if I was a family member of somebody who played the sport. But as a viewer, as just a casual fan of college football and basketball, I do feel like I hate what's happening a little bit. At the same time, these guys do deserve to make money on their name and their likeness and their image. I don't know what the answer is, but I feel like we're going in a direction that I don't like. And I was one of the biggest guys banging on the drum to get these guys paid any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, it's kind of like, there's always people that come along at the right time. It's the people who invested in tech in the early everybody else, some people missed that wave. It's the folks who came along before the rookie salary cap in the NFL. It's the folks who are just coming in college and have a high profile and playing at this time with the NIL. Hunter Dickinson, love him to death. Good Michigan man. Hunter Dickinson, this is Michigan. They're not going to change, bro. Mm-hmm. That's who they are. Michigan, and you know what makes, I'm sure that when Michigan won the football Big Ten championship last year, they reminded the world, we're Michigan. We do things our way, and we're not following anybody.
Yeah, but one Big Ten championship in how many years, Stan?
I'm telling you.
So you're happy with you're happy with one out of 20?
Don't say you're. I'm telling you how they think in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
They're idiots, then. I've been rooting for Michigan for 50 years.
Well, obviously, apparently they're not idiots because you still root for them.
I know.
So they're not idiots. Like,
but this is brand new, Bray.
And when we say they, we're talking about the way the people, the power behind Michigan, not us as former players.
This is all brand new.
It doesn't matter. Michigan is going to do things their way. They're going to wait and find out how to do it their way. You're not going to bully them. You're not going to tell them. You're not going to point out, hey, look at what Michigan State is doing. Hey, look what Ohio State's been doing since before the NIL.
Right.
Wink, wink. Look what they've been doing before then. They don't care. And then what validates their care, look at the football team. Nobody expect that. Now here they are, Big Ten champs. Look at the basketball team. Nobody expect that. Here they are in the Sweet 16 yet again.
When you go to Ann Arbor and go to a football game, James Earl Jones will remind you, this is Michigan.
So, and again, the Hunter Dickinson, so he was doing an interview with Sam Webb yesterday, and in that interview, he was talking about how Jim Harbaugh and Juwan Howard are about to lose and going to eventually lose many high-profile student athletes. Here's what Dickinson said. If I'm the number one player in the country for basketball or football, why would I come to Michigan where they're saying they have the potential for you to get something? When I'm at Alabama for football or Kentucky for basketball, they're like, you can commit here and this deal, you can sign it right after you sign the letter for $1 million. I would never come to Michigan if that's the case. They're going to lose out on so many players if they don't start stepping up to the plate. I feel bad for Coach Juwan and Coach Harbaugh because they're trying. It's not their fault. The coaches are trying for sure. I know for a fact Juwan and Coach Harbaugh are trying to plead with the administration. At some point, they're going to realize that you either got to be all in or you're not going to get anybody. That's my take on it. That is extremely powerful.
Yeah.
An extremely powerful critique of the University of Michigan, and yet another reason why I believe Jim Harbaugh flirted, or whatever word you wanted, tried to run away from Michigan, escape from college football as fast as he could.
And my response to Hunter Dickinson is, okay. Okay. So we might lose the top players. Okay. This is still Michigan.
Yeah.
That's not what we do. And we won't do that. I can't see Michigan folding the tent and acquiescing as like the other schools in the foreseeable future. I don't see it.
Michigan will always be Michigan. Michigan has been doing the same thing since my dad was in school. They were doing the same thing when I was there. They're doing the same thing now. They won't change who they are. They're the leaders and the best. That is how they feel. That is real. They're not going to change. When Ohio State was going with the mobile black quarterback and that became their identity, Michigan didn't change. They stayed with who they were. But you can go down the list of things that people changed.
Ours just weren't as good.
I'll give
Devin Gardner. Come on.
Years and years and years and years and years later. 2 years and years and years later. Then you go LSU. LSU was doing the thing. They had your boy Les Miles. Wanted to bring Les Miles in. Les didn't get in. We don't have to get into all that. But also, what were they doing? They were paying players. Michigan wouldn't go that route. They wouldn't go the pay players route like other schools are doing. Marquise Hill was a defensive tackle that died on the boat for the Patriots back in 2007, 2006. Marquise Hill was supposed to be in my class. He was coming to Michigan. He decommitted and went to LSU. And I found out later from Marcus Spears and Marquise Hill. He said, man, they put up in that Denali. It was over. Michigan didn't want to go that route. They didn't want to go the route. Michigan never wants to go what everybody else is doing. They want to stay in their lane. They want to be, mum's the word, vanilla, but they also want to have that golden standard where you know they did it the right way.
Well, this is a new world now, right? So it's been 2 years now, NIL, 2 seasons. And what Hunter Dickinson is saying is what the kids are saying now. So Michigan better open their eyes and their ears, because they better change from here now, because now the game has changed completely, because now cheating is up front.
And it's not cheating anymore.
The game keeps changing, but Michigan doesn't.
So I can understand where you guys are coming from, that Michigan won't change. Michigan wasn't going to maybe cheat. But if you're getting your teeth kicked in every year by Ohio State, by Michigan State, by Georgia and Alabama, just continuing to bang your head against the wall, how long can you do that before you have to abide within the rules? I mean, if you're not doing what other top universities are doing in terms of the rules allowed, what are you even doing at that point?
Well, see, Michigan fans really support what Michigan does. Prior to last year, before we won the Big Ten championship, and we haven't won it in 20-some-odd years, the whole Michigan a lot of Michigan fan bases were, we're not winning championships because we don't cheat. We do it the right way. Now, last year, when we were ranked top 5 in the amount of the country, nobody said anything about us cheating, did they? How did we get there and not cheat? Oh, Michigan folks the fans are some of the most you will ever see on the face of the planet Earth. Therefore, the administration doesn't have to change what they're doing, because there still is going to be 100,000+ in that stadium week in and week out.
Xavier Worthy turned down a 7-figure deal. Xavier Worthy is a
former Michigan
commit, wide receiver at Texas.
Yeah.
The Longhorns, who had 0 players drafted in this draft for the first time ever, I believe. But Xavier Worthy turned down a 7-figure deal from another Power 5 school, turned it down to stay at Texas. So do we have a situation now, guys, where you have other Power 5 teams literally going to poach
yes, of course.
other players from teams? And how many Xavier Worthies are there out there? We'll be back after this. But first, a message from Chili Peppers Tanning.
Another beautiful day in Michigan to get your vitamin D and get that skin looking good, right? No, it's pouring rain as usual. So get the Chili Peppers Tanning. You'll get all the best deals. They got all the competitors beat if you join the Peppers Club. Don't forget that. The hottest bulbs, the hottest deals, the darkest tans, your vitamin D headquarters, 26 locations, more on the way. Check them out at chilipepperstanning.com.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle, baby, talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
Everybody, it's Maz for Big Boy, and that signature buffet is back. Treat yourself and the crew every weekend, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. at your local Big Boy. Check them out, your favorites in the morning. 2 kinds of eggs, bacon, sausage, you name it, garlic potatoes, French toast, hot cakes, waffles, pancakes. They got it all. Fresh fruit as well. Much, much more weekdays, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. at your local Big Boy.
Hey, college football. It's time to wake the fudge up. Empires don't stay empires forever. They crumble from within, and almost always after great runs of dominance. We're at a tipping point, y'all. What's taking place right now behind the scenes in the NIL world is despicable. And it's dangerous and it's irresponsible. And this ain't about the kids getting theirs. Student athletes have always deserved a bigger piece of the pie. This is about the adults in the room. It's always been about the adults in the room, which is how we got the sham notion of amateurism in the first damn place. This is about the institutions and the donor bases and the development departments and the extremely successful men and women that make up that population. But this win by any means necessary mentality is a poison. It's termites, and those termites are eroding the fabric and foundation of what makes this sport the greatest on the planet. There's an old saying that no matter how far down the wrong road you've gone, turn around. Unfortunately for us, I think the genie's out of the bottle and we can't get this toothpaste back in the tube, but we can pull the damn car over, catch our breath, orient ourselves, and figure out a responsible way for everybody to win that is in the best interest of our sport. Because what we're doing now ain't, and we better figure that out.
I don't know about that. I've been down the wrong road sometimes looking for somewhere, especially before GPS, and end up getting to my destination. Maybe it took me a little longer, but I think I did get there, though, Ryan.
So that was Aaron Taylor, Notre Dame, former Notre Dame Fighting Irish, defensive stud, defensive star. And look, he's concerned, I guess you would say the word, about college sports. I am too. But at the same time, I don't have a solution. So we're just spinning our wheels here.
Well, Aaron Taylor, the wheels would not come off. I don't foresee that this will happen very long. There will be things put in place to kind of slow this down and bring it back to where college football is still an enjoyable sport, and it's not the Wild Wild West. And one place you can go first to thank it is the University of Michigan.
Well, look at this too, though. I'll say Greg Campy, right, for the head coach basketball down the street. Greg Campy losing players to the transfer portal. And you think about those smaller schools, Oakland University. If you're a guy at Oakland University and you have a good year and you can be like, hell, I'll go make a couple of bucks and go play for Michigan down the road. Why not go do that? Across all NCAA sports, right now there are 27,400 student athletes in the portal. In 5 years, there will be a congressional committee to look into why athletes are graduating at an all-time low. Is getting what you want or wanting what you got more important? Get your degree, please. What do you guys make of that?
I don't know where to go with that because I don't has he always been focused on individuals graduating? So
I think at his school probably.
Exactly. Okay, so therein lies that. I think when it first came out, people just thought it was going to make sense. People thought that you look at an individual like Charles Woodson, he has a really good freshman year. Okay, you know what? Let's pay Charles Woodson some money. Pay him his sophomore year, pay him his junior year, and then he leaves and he goes, gets drafted to the Oakland Raiders 4th overall. They thought it was going to look like that. Oh, you know what? It's the Fab Five. These guys are really good. Let's pay them some money. Hey, why don't you endorse this? Or why don't you do it? They thought it was going to be very simple and you can make sense of it. They didn't know it was going to be the Wild Wild West. They didn't know coaches and teams like Texas A&M were going to try to poach players, which we know to be illegal. And at least if it's not illegal, it's immoral. So I think what you're waiting for, like Dad said, it's going to change. Like Sam Cooke said, change going to come. But it's going to have to take something. It's going to have to take an event. It's going to have to take something illegal, something ugly within the next year or so, something ugly to allow the NCAA back in, because nobody wants them to come back in. Everybody wants them to stay off, and they're patiently waiting.
Stay out.
The NCAA is patiently waiting for that one epic F-up so that they can jump back in and put some organization to the system.
Well, they need a new president. Mark Emmert stepping down at the end of the year. I mean, they're a mess, the NCAA.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
I mean, to look for them for guidance is like, forget
not guidance, but they're waiting for a moment.
And so, Greg Campy, don't throw out numbers that are skewed, because out of that 27,000, you got Division II going to Division III and IA going to Division I. Yeah. Those kids are not getting any NIL money, so don't try to skew the numbers to add weight to your position.
I like it for the reason he stated. I actually like it for. If you go to a small school, because that's who came and recruited you, you didn't get your opportunity to go to a Michigan or an Ohio State, so you went to Oakland. Now you're balling out. You should be rewarded by being able to transfer upwards.
Well, look at those kids at St. Peter's. 3 of them got paid.
They all
That's
left.
a great example, man.
Yeah.
That's
And
a
got a
great
Buffalo
example.
Wild Wings deal in the deal.
Yep. Doug Edwards, my alma mater.
But also, like, do you think it's appropriate? Well, and again, what's appropriate, right? I mean, maybe this is something that could come down the road. Hunter Dickinson telling a story about how one of the companies he represents is contacting him the morning of the Villanova game so that he has to go fire off tweets and posts on social media instead of getting ready for the game. I mean, do you believe at least something like that could be curtailed in any sort of re-imaging of NIL Part 2 to where, you can't contact me on the day of a game, or there's got to be something in place, or is that just the pipe dream?
Well, there should be, because he should not have to have that pressure that he's got to put out a tweet and he's thinking about playing a basketball game. But all this comes from when Johnny Manziel is being woke up out of his dorm room. We got donors in town. Come sign some football and take pictures for them because you won the Heisman Trophy.
Oh,
he got no money
about
with that. It all comes when you got coaches getting schools put on probation. They leave and go to another job. This comes from a lot of different stuff where bowl executives are making $1 million for one game and the kids don't get anything. That's where this comes from. Is it out of whack now? Absolutely. But let's not forget how we got here.
Without question, and I think we're saying the same thing. I mean, I fully agree with paying players. I just don't know how to do it, or B, if this way, which was also the way that I thought would work. I'll be fully, I raise my right hand. Right. I thought that this Olympic way of doing things would be the best way of doing things. If you could make a couple of bucks signing an autograph, if you could make a couple of bucks doing a commercial, by all means, please feel free, or sending a tweet or an post out, whatever. But this looks just so far removed from anything that's right.
Side note, and I said this off camera, I want to make sure I say it on camera. It's Taylor. That's his name.
Aaron Taylor.
Yeah, Aaron Taylor. I always forget his name. I remember when he was at Notre Dame. He looks like Jeff Fain, who's another guy that went to Notre Dame, played against him.
Chris Zorich a little bit, too.
He looks like Chris Zorich a little bit as well for the Chicago Bears. If you're going to if you're going to post a video like this, which has gone viral on social media, seen over 1 million times, don't just say all the obvious. Thank you, Captain Obvious. We know that it's a you-know-what type of show. Give me a suggestion. Give me something on how you can fix it. Point somebody out. Who's at fault? Is it the coaches? Is it the GMs? Is it the regions? Is it the sponsors? Or is it the endorsers coming at these kids? Have a suggestion if you're going to post it out, because what you did was point out 1 minute and 10 seconds worth of stuff we already know that we're all watching. Come out with a suggestion.
It was still pretty cool, though.
It was cool, but it was hot air at the end.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to do something like that, which we already know, like, all right, cool. Like, where's the suggestion for you to post?
Change does come when there's, right, when people are banging the drum on something, right? I mean, that's why this NIL is here in the first place, because there was enough people banging on the drum to get college athletes paid.
But they banged, and then they also gave reasons why college football should pay athletes in college. That's all I'm saying. If you're talking about what I said about Taylor, yeah, change does come, but give me an example of the change. Yeah. Tell me what's wrong with the system. Like, start laying things out. Like, even what Campy said about the graduation rate, that's something. That's something that I can look at and point to. Obviously, it's a very small thing, but it's at least something that was pointed out that's not normal that we see every day.
Piston Fan 11 says maybe Malik Willis can fix the.
By the way, did you see?
You're not gonna let that one down, Ryan.
Did you see what Ryan Tannehill said today?
Yeah, I did.
It's not my job to teach Malik Willis.
I was gonna get that
to mentor Malik Willis
in hour number 2.
Seems like the type.
Yeah. I was gonna do that in hour number 2.
That doesn't mean you can't do it.
Stan, we can't thank you enough. Hour number 1 in the books. Fastest hour ever. Thank you for coming in. Anything burning you want to get off your chest before you get out of here?
Did he play the Sam Cooke card?
He
you know Sam Cooke is 30 years older than me? Wow.
Look at this guy.
Hey, man.
That's great.
I love Sam Cooke.
You brought up a well-rounded kid, man. You brought up a well-rounded
Takes
boy.
after his mom.
Yeah, there you go.
Look at that.
That was a backhanded compliment.
Absolutely.
Well, we know your mom. We love her.
Stan, we love you, man. Hey, maybe we'll see you next Tuesday.
If the doc let me off my meds, we'll see.
All right, we'll take it 1 week at a time.
All right.
In the meantime, Mike Tannenbaum coming up in just a couple of minutes. But first, a message
Tell him
from
I said hello.
Cintron.
No, I definitely will.
right.
Speaking of
Yeah,
Cintron, the summer of Cintron is here, and now Cintron is available at Kroger. That's what I'm talking about. Start off at LCA with the Pistons and the Red Wings. Then they moved into Birmingham Rose, and now they are in Kroger's. Check them out right now. 2 Cintrons, right? These things right here. 2 of the energy drinks for $4. That is a great deal because these are $3.50 a piece. Cintron is a new energy drink for active lifestyle. Drink it, live it with Cintron.
At Wingsnob, staying humble's not our forte. We just have better wings. We're back at it again with our crispy golden brown fries and our famous boneless wings. Juicy, tender, hormone-free chicken. Your favorite signature sauces with no bone. Just when you thought Wingsnob couldn't get any better. Order online at wingsnob.com today. Wingsnob. We just have better wings.
Get a shot up. This is for the win. All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Hey, gang, want to let you know about Guardian Alarm. They're your local security experts, have been for over 90 years. Guardian Alarm keeps you safe and gives you peace of mind, whether you're at home or on the road. Their 24/7 local monitoring makes sure what is important to you is safe. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT for peace of mind. That number again, 1-800-STAY-OUT. Right now.
Stay out.
Let them know Woodward Sports sent you. Mike Tannenbaum momentarily. Quickly, Braylon, you into this NBA playoffs at all?
Of course.
I mean, got a couple of game 2s tonight, Milwaukee and Boston, and then Golden State, Memphis. That Golden State-Memphis series is going to be fun.
My apologies, I had to text my dad. Just found out one of my former track team members lost a family member. Yeah, I have been watching the playoffs. Interesting to see. Let's jump in with Golden State just for 2 seconds. How, and this is Maz's team, Steph. I got to give you all the credit in the world. Steph's your guy. You talked about Golden State all year being the catalyst to win it. I didn't think they could win it. I thought they're a really good team, and here we are. The odds-on favorite to win it now are the Golden State Warriors. Just talk about for a second, if Steph wins this championship, and I tweeted this question earlier, if Steph wins this championship, what does that mean for his legacy? He and Draymond and the Warriors. Think about it that way, because they told Steph he's never been Finals MVP. They told Steph, oh, yeah, you know, you came up, but then you lost to LeBron James. Oh, yeah, you came, but then KD saved your franchise. When KD came and won Finals MVP twice, they said that was it when he left. They said Steph was done, Clay was done, Clay was going to the Lakers with LeBron. Yeah. They would never win again. And here they are, odds-on favorite to win it all. What would that say about his legacy if they could win it and he's Finals MVP, Ryan?
I think it's all house money for Steph Curry at this point. I think Steph Curry's legacy in this game is already in cement.
But does it add? But does it take it to the next level, though?
I don't know how many more levels you can go after you change the way the game was played.
What's your
Nobody has
you
to.
know,
what's your levels?
Most people don't. I put it to you this way:
Michael Jordan's your
most
first
people
level.
don't have him in the top 10.
Well, that's
for
ridiculous.
sure. People don't have him in the top 5. So now you're looking at an individual. That's what I'm asking. So what does that change?
I don't know. I don't know. Regardless of how many championships Steph Curry wins, if it's 1, if it's 2, if it's 3, probably not going to be more than 3 or 4 realistically. For argument of for sake of the conversation,
he has 3 now,
right? But for argument of the conversation, he's probably not going to win more than 3 or 4 more. So let's just
4. Okay, I got you.
Cap it. It's 6 or 7 championships. Just as a hypothetical. I'm not saying maybe they get 1 championship, but I'm just as a hypothetical. Regardless of how many championships he has, he's never going to get in the best player category in terms of Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, anything like that. I think he's got his own category. He single-handedly changed the way the game was played for an entire generation of kids. Yeah. Jordan Poole is successful in the NBA because Steph Curry came into the league. The way in which Steph Curry has changed basketball, I think, to me, that's his legacy.
He's a top 10 player for me forever.
Definitely understand that. I know you think that.
And I know there's great players.
I definitely love that. Yeah, but you know what? There's always going to be great players, but it comes a time where you got to rate those great players. And I'm sorry that you pay in the 60s or the 70s. You're just not better than this guy, and that's not to your fault. What I would say, I know we got Mike T on, so I can't wait to get to him. The last thing I would say is you're right about everything, the exception of this. If he wins the finals this year, if he's finals MVP this year, I think you're going to start seeing people put him in the top 5 category of best players of all time, because he's did it with different regimes, he's did it with different players, and he's finally done it himself.
He's awesome.
We can get back into a little NBA later, but first we are going to be joined now by our good friend, the father of incoming Michigan freshman Ella Tannenbaum. He is Mike Tannenbaum. That's the way he wanted to be introduced the last time. And he is back. Mike, how you doing, my friend?
So that's easy.
Mike T, how's it going, buddy?
Good, Braylon. Great to
always appreciate you getting with us too, man. I appreciate you talking to Ben. Ben's an amazing guy, so glad we're finally able to get this going.
Yeah, I know. Great to be with you guys. It's been a little hectic out in Las Vegas covering the draft for ESPN Radio, then in New York a couple of days. Try and catch a flight here, but always great to be with you.
Hey, Mike, let me ask you first and foremost, Lions draft. We're here in Detroit. Aiden Hutchinson, of course, but many people believe in Jameson Williams could be the number one wide receiver in this class. What did you make of the Lions' first round?
Yeah, I'm not just saying it because I'm on with you guys, because I texted Brad Holmes as soon as it happened. I thought they had the best draft in the NFL. They got 2 of the 3 best players. First of all, Aiden Hutchinson, to me, I worked with Dan Campbell in Miami. He was our head coach for 12 games. This is like the perfect Dan Campbell guy. High motor, relentless. He'll make his teammates better. And then as it relates to Jameson Williams, to me, best football players, I was at the SEC championship game against Georgia in this all-world defense. He's tough. If he's healthy, his speed, I would put him in the rare fight.
Hey, struggling.
Yeah, Mike, we're gonna try to hang up with you and get you on the phone, Mike. Our connection problem is just it's a little bit too much. We're gonna try to call you on the phone. Don't worry about the video at this point. We certainly appreciate what's going on, Maz. Let's try to work that out. We'll just try to get him on the phone. But pretty high praise there, Braylon, from Mike Tannenbaum.
High praise. As he said, he was a guy that worked with Dan Campbell. When Dan Campbell was in Miami, he was the interim coach for 12 games. He worked with him, so he knows Dan Campbell. That's pretty high praise. And I can't wait to get Mike back on the phone. The reason why it's such high praise, look at the team that he used to be the GM of. Look at how I know Mike Tannenbaum. I know Mike Tannenbaum because of the New York Jets. And for him to say the Detroit Lions had a better draft than the New York Jets, I can't wait to get him back on and ask him why he believes that they had a better draft than the Jets. Because everybody has the Jets, the number 1 draft behind them, I believe, the Chiefs, the Giants, and then the Detroit Lions. So it'll be good to figure that out with Mike Tannenbaum.
Yeah, we'll do that. And again, he's driving in it.
You got to re-ask him the Jameson Williams question, because he sounded like he was ready to sing the praises of this guy. And I want to hear it, you know? I definitely want to hear it.
And, of course, Dan Campbell, head coach for 12 games on an interim level with Mike Tannenbaum in Miami. So there's another aspect of that and the ties to Detroit. So do we have him back on? No, we do not have him back on yet. So we'll just continue on with that, guys. Another thing that Mike Tannenbaum has been talking about for a long time, and I heard him, he mentioned that ESPN radio work that he was doing out in Las Vegas. A lot of people surprised. Derek Stingley Jr., he was surprised that the Houston Texans at 3 would take the player that was injured over the player that was not injured in Sauce Gardner, who went 1 pick later. You know, we're not sitting here telling you that, Jameson Williams, maybe that, and I guess New Orleans did that as well. They took Olave, the healthy player, before Jameson Williams went, and flip-flop with the defensive backs, in which Stingley, the injured player, went before Sauce Gardner. So I'm curious to see what he has to say about taking injured players as well.
Yeah, I think what the big thing with Sauce Gardner, the big thing with Stingley Jr. Stingley Jr., you look at the pedigree. You look at the pedigree. You look at LSU. You look at the various safeties and cornerbacks that have come from LSU. You also look at the. Are we good? Y'all want me to shut up?
Yeah.
All right, shut up.
All right, good. We got Mike Tannenbaum back on now. Mike, thanks so much. Sorry about that.
Nobody was looking at me, so.
Mike, just to reiterate your thoughts on Jameson Williams, you said you texted Brad Holmes immediately after that pick.
Yeah, and I think he's Tyreek Hill. I went to the SEC championship game expecting to see this all-world Georgia defense, and I left thinking that the best college football player right now may be Jameson Williams. His speed is, throughout the 40s at the combine, like in terms of game speed, I think it's rare, and I think the only player in the NFL, when healthy, that's faster than Jameson Williams is Tyreek Hill.
High praise, Mike T. Hey, you said something before we lost you, Mike, and you said that the Detroit Lions had the best draft of anyone in the draft. All 32 teams, Detroit Lions had the best draft. Tell me how that's so. When the New York Jets draft was so amazing, you mean to tell me Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner, Jermaine Johnson, Breece Hall, you mean to tell me that the Lions draft was better than the Jets draft? Please educate me, sir.
Yeah, well, first of all, I thought the Jets had a really good draft, so I'm taking nothing away from what they did as well. But to me, when you could come out of this and didn't have to give up a future first-round pick, and again, for me, I thought just in terms of the best football players, just grade them as players. Hutchinson was 1, Sauce Gardner was 2, and then Jameson Williams was 3. So to me, to get 2 of the 3 best players and not have to mortgage your future, well, I think the Jets did a great job. That's why, to me, to get those are 2 foundational great players that have Hall of Fame potential.
Hey, Mike, I was listening to your coverage on ESPN radio that you were doing the night of the draft, actually. One of the things that struck me was what you had to say in regards of Derek Stingley Jr. going 3 to Houston, because why would you, if you're Houston, take an injured player when you have somebody almost equally, if not even better, in Sauce Gardner going 1 pick later? Why not take the healthy player over the injured player? It kind of seems like the Saints did that with Olave going 1 pick before Williams.
Yeah, that's totally fair. To me, I thought what Houston did was reckless. Like, you can't tell me that Derek Stingley is that much better than Sauce Gardner that he went to perform. I mean, Sauce Gardner to me was a perfect prospect. He was physically prototyped. He had high character. He was productive. He was durable. I don't see how any way you could possibly take Stingley over him. What's interesting when you look at Olave, Jameson Williams, what's really fascinating is, like, 3 and Garrett Wilson, all 3 were college teammates at Ohio State. They went 10, 11, and 12, back to back to back. So, I think Olave going before Jameson Williams just had to do with probably the durability question.
Hey, Mike, it's Maz, and thanks for coming on with us. Quarterbacks fell in this draft. We all know that. Last time we had you on, you said you keep taking a quarterback. Every draft you get the right one. Ryan and I were big fans of Malik Willis. We like Kenny Pickett as well. The Lions did not even get a quarterback in the free agent pool. What's your take on that going forward here in Detroit?
Yeah, a little surprised that they didn't take one, because I do think you just keep going until you don't have one. And look, Jared Goff's done some good things in our league, first pick overall, playing the Super Bowl, so we can't take that away from him. But clearly, I don't think anyone in Detroit feels like he's the long-term answer. So, I was a little surprised can't leave Detroit. Seattle passed on Malik Willis 3 times. I'm hard-pressed to understand that. I understand he may not be ready from day one, but boy, there's a lot to like about his upside.
Mike T, be here right now. Got to ask you a question. We saw the reports. DeAndre Hopkins will be out suspended for 6 games due to PED violations, NFL drug policy. Did the Cardinals know this when they made the move? They traded the first round pick for Hollywood Marquise Brown. Get him up there with his former teammate, former roommate, and Kyler Murray. Did they know this? And is this a move to permanently replace DeAndre Hopkins and shop him around, or is this just coincidence? There are no coincidences, by the way.
Yeah, Braylon, I think to me, like, they had to know about it. Usually these things go on for a while, like the suspension and appeal. So I'm sure they took Hollywood Brown as someone that can come in and replace, Hopkins short term. I think Hopkins may be the best receiver in the NFL. So I would think that I would be surprised if they were going to shop him. Now, look, they're really small. They got Rondell Moore and Hollywood Brown. A.J. Green's still there, but boy, his best days are behind him. So I think they're probably going to have to run the ball more while Hopkins is out.
Talking to Mike Tannenbaum, Braylon's former general manager with the Jets, now, of course, ESPN NFL insider, kind enough to give us some time here on Woodward Sports. Mike, I want to get to the NFC North. Are you surprised by what the Packers did, drafting 2 defensive players instead of addressing the need at wide receiver? They eventually did with 2 picks, but, 2 defensive players with their first 2 picks.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I was a little surprised. Now, Christian Watson is going to be a good player, and Odell Beckham's still sitting out there. And what got hurt to me, Odell Beckham was the best player in the Super Bowl. I think there's still a lot left on his tire, so I'd be surprised if Green Bay didn't try to sign a receiver. But I love those 2 Georgia defenders. They got Devontae Wyatt and Quay Walker. I think they're both really good.
I got to get to Baker Mayfield. When the season starts in September, will he be the Browns starting quarterback week 1?
I don't think so.
This is crazy.
I think, I think that bridge has been burned. So I think it's probably best for both sides to get a fresh start. And hopefully Baker can learn from his experience, move on, and put it all behind him. But I can't imagine that he'd still be there.
Where do you think he will be?
I don't know. Seattle told everybody how much they like Drew Lock. Clearly, by the way they drafted, I think that's true. Carolina drafted Matt Corral, so I'm sure he'll find a job. I just don't know where.
Mike T, last question for me before you get out of here. I know you're trying to get out of there. I see you in cab as we speak. The Jets, want to get back to them. Former team, you and I, that's how we met, that's how we bonded. What is the ceiling for them this year in terms of wins, losses? I mean, they had a really good draft, but as you know more than anybody, it's just on paper.
Yeah, and it's all about Zach Wilson. So I think they got a chance to maybe get up to 500, make some big progress in year 2 for him and Coach Saleh. Obviously, as you mentioned, they had a great draft, but that's a tough division. Buffalo, Miami got better with Tyreek Hill. Coach Belichick's not going anywhere, so that's still a really tough division.
Hey, why did Belichick take Bailey Zappi in the 4th round?
That's a great question. I'm not really sure. He had an amazing production this year at Western. I don't think he has a great arm. I think he's smart, competitive, and I know those are attributes that Coach Belichick likes to have.
Mike Tannenbaum, ESPN NFL insider, of course, former Jets general manager, of course, then went to the Miami Dolphins. Mike, thanks so much. We certainly appreciate your time on this of Michigan freshman Ella Tannenbaum. Mike, we can't thank you enough. We cannot thank you enough.
Right.
Take care, man.
All right.
My pleasure. Anytime. Take care, guys.
You got it. Really, really appreciate his stuff. And I'll tell you, guys, look. You can think I don't know anything, and that's fine. But when a 2-time NFL general manager in this league,
who gets paid for his general manager advice,
right, says essentially the same thing that we have been saying here, makes you feel like you know a little thing or two about football. Sorry, everybody in the chat and all the commenters and Adam Baydoun there in the back continuing to hammer along on Twitter, on the YouTube chat. It's all good. Yeah. Hey, smash that like button for us. Let's get to over 200. We've got over 550 live viewers right now on YouTube watching live with us. Of course, when the show happens to end at 4 o'clock, then you guys can do with it what you want. People watch the show when they want to watch the show, and we certainly appreciate that. Smash that like button for us. Get us over 200 likes.
Hey, Dan Orlovsky loves our draft. So does Chris Collinsworth, Mike Tannenbaum. I mean, that's high praise, man. I take my hat off to Brad Holmes. Hope it works out.
I'll give you another reason why you should like this draft and the Lions moving forward. We'll do that coming up next. But first, you know what? I'll give you. How about this? How about let's do a message from Wingsnob?
Oh, Wingsnob.
You want to do a message from Wingsnob?
I feel like eating some Wingsnob.
Fresh, juicy, hormone-free chicken. Wingsnob has the best traditional wings. Try out those signature sausage, Jamaican jerk, or lemon pepper. Wings are tossed to perfection in any sauce you pick. When the wings are this good, you're allowed to be a snob. Order online. Look for a location near you. Wingsnob.com. Wingsnob.com. We just have better wings. We'll be right back. Ermanni and Edwards, Woodward Sports Network.
He's going deep, right side. Oh, that is Edwards out there. He goes up in the air at the goal line.
Hey, it's Braylon Edwards here, wanting to welcome the sports marketing agency to Woodward Sports Network, to the family. Glad to have you guys. For the last decade, the sports marketing agency has literally leveraged athletes around issues such as mental health and substance abuse.
Glad that we can finally start trying to get the stigma off of mental health that's been there for all these years.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
I'm going to go to the Mitten State, Mel, and that's with the Detroit Lions. Aiden Hutchinson at number 1. I think Brad Holmes, their general manager, gets his Chris Long. Jamison Williams, they traded up for. And then I love the draft pick of Josh Paschal out of Kentucky. I think he reminds a lot of people of Shaq Barrett from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I love their draft. The Lions are coming.
The Lions are coming, and a lot of people feel like that. I mean, Mike Tannenbaum, of course, just said that he believes the Lions had the best draft. And then, of course, Adam Beydoun says
he's unemployed
well,
for a
why is
reason.
he unemployed? He's not unemployed.
I said he's employed by the worldwide leader.
Yeah, he's very handsome.
Adam against Tannenbaum. Let's get it going. Let's get it going.
I love it, though. Beydoun says, you asked for this. So funny. But nonetheless, a lot of people really like the draft, Braylon.
It was a good one. Ultimately, the main need that people wanted to be addressed was the quarterback position. They wanted Malik Willis, and then you had another chance to get him down the line. It didn't happen. It is what it is. Now the interesting thing is going to be, what do the Lions do from now until when they start the season? Because there's still a lot of room to make some moves.
Right. One thing you said yesterday in regards to that quarterback, too, is that, and I really appreciated what you said because it kind of talked me off a ledge a little bit, because I do believe this team is going to compete for a playoff berth this year. I think they have, 9 home games, softer schedule, not going to win every single one of those easy games, but should win a majority of them. And I think they'll 4-2 against the division. I don't think is out of the realm of possibilities. So I think 10 wins is seriously in play. But if something happens to Jared Goff, it concerns me. I will say that, though, you said yesterday, we're sitting here on May 2nd. This is yesterday. Today's May 3rd.
Yeah.
There's plenty of time to
2
maybe
days to
go
Cinco de
out
Mayo.
there. There's many months left to go out there and get a backup quarterback if you so choose, if you need to. Because you can't have Jared Goff miss any games and win that game. He missed 3 last year.
Even if he misses the games, it's who cares? Because we're not going to win the championship this year anyway. I'd rather have another high.
Mean?
I'd rather have another high pick, to be perfectly honest.
What do you mean you're
you.
not going to win a championship?
They're not.
Dude, the Packers are going to win 7 games.
I know, man. Come on, be realistic.
I am.
You're not.
This division's terrible.
You're out of your mind.
I think 10 this division could be like the NFC East, man.
See, this is
where you can win 8-9
NFC
games.
East is on the way up.
That is, but you can win 8-9 games and win this division this year.
I don't think so.
The NFC East is always on the way up. But that's the good thing about us being analysts or us being the guys that talk about the sport and not actually being the Detroit Lions players. Because for me, am I going to my bookie and putting a bet in that the Lions are going to make the playoffs? Hell no, not even close. But behind closed doors, am I secretly thinking that they could do it? Maybe, possibly in some weird multi-universe. Because Doctor Strange is coming out Thursday, so a little plug right there. Yeah, maybe. But that's our mindset. That's how we talk. And we can talk about the Lions like, it's not this year. They're not going to win this year. But the Detroit Lions think they're going to win this year, and that's all that freaking matters.
Another big reason why I think they've gotten better is for one specific player. We'll have that for you next. Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network on a beautiful Tuesday.
But first,
bottom line,
a message from Sticker Genius.
Oh, there it is.
Yes.
Sticker Genius is the official sticker partner of Woodward Sports. When it comes to stickers and signage, think Sticker Genius. If you see all this beautiful wall covering all over the Planet Fitness studios, you'll see Sticker Genius did this in less than a day. If you go to their website, stickergenius.com, you will see that they offer window graphics, wall graphics, custom stickers, and so much more. If you want them to hook you up like they did us, visit stickergenius.com. This is Ermanni and Edwards, Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line.
I'm Kay Cunningham. I'm proud to partner with Hall Financial, the mortgage company known for 5-star service. Don't just take my word for it. Check out their 5,000 5-star reviews for yourself. Go to callhallfirst.com and get started with your 5-star experience today.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
Summertime is almost here, and there's no better way to enjoy a Michigan summer. That's right, a Michigan summer. So beautiful. We only get a couple months of it, but it still is beautiful. Then with a glass of Gypsy vodka. That's because Gypsy vodka is gluten-free. Also, corn distilled 6 times using artesian spring water. Also just goes well with stuff, man. You can mix it with grapefruit juice. You can mix it with peach. You can mix it with Sprite. You can mix it with orange juice, cranberry juice, tonic. It doesn't matter. Everything goes well with Gypsy. Go down to the liquor store right now. Ask for them by name. And remember, if you're going to drink, if you're going to have a party, if you're going to enjoy Gypsy, please do it responsibly.
Take a look.
Take
a look at this guy.
That's the change of angle.
Take a look at this guy. Look at them hips. Look at them hips. Look at him turn and go.
Open the hips.
Catch it.
Oh, there it is. Feet in bounds.
Look at him go.
Watch this.
Look at him go.
Okay. Back pedal. That's a slant. That's a slant route. He read the rear. Oh, we go. Oh, set aside. Oh, go back. Drop the feet again.
Look at this guy.
Nice.
Look at this guy. This guy here, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, is Mr. Jeff Okudah.
You don't go third overall on accident. Like, I mean, yes, there are players in the draft typically that have happened over time, over the years, but you don't typically go there by accident. Like, they legitimately scouted you. They looked at you. They watched your film. They listened to what others said about you. They talked to your coaches. They talked to your players. They talked to people you played against. They drafted him third overall for a reason. The man has talent. The man is working to get back. And now, on top of the talent, his mental is stronger. Like, you know how much value it is to that injury in terms of working through that injury, working through what people said about him being a bust, warning him out of here. He wasn't the right move. He no longer has it. Coming back from Achilles, it builds up your mental. So not only does he have the athletic skill that he had when we drafted him, now his mental is sharpened. Now his mental is ready. It's going to be a damn good player.
I am so freaking high on Jeff Okudah this year.
So high.
And a lot of that has to do with how hard he's working. This is one of the great things with social media. Instead of never being heard from for a year, you have gotten to see this player work his ass off to try to get back and to be this player that we think and we hope and we want him to be. We need Jeff Okudah to get back his mojo. We need him to be healthy. And if he is, and he looks healthy,
right,
this is like adding a third top 10 pick in the NFL draft to your lineup this year, which just makes everybody around him better. If Jeff Okudah can come back this year and be that number 3 overall player, which I think he can be, I am very high on Okudah this year, then man, oh man, you really got something here.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Jeff Okudah. That's a Jay-Z reference for y'all. This is dope, man. I love it in so many factors. I remember when I was rehabbing from an ACL. Now, ACL is different than Achilles, obviously, but it's still a major injury. It's one in which you got to get the mind right. It's day to day. It's every morning. Every morning you wake up, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be in this place. I'm only rehabbing. I'm only 1 month in. I'm only 2 months in. Dang, am I going to be the same? You battle with yourself. So when you finally come back, Maz, like when you're finally all there, that when your mind trusts the body again, when it trusts the injury, when Jeff's mind trusts the Achilles injury, the sky is the limit. Now when you're in bad situations, like he's a DB, he's going to get cooked at some point. Everybody gets torched. We saw Jalen Ramsey get torched a couple times in the playoff, but it's the next play. See, now that mental that you've built up because you've rehabbed, you've went through that process, like nothing's harder than that. So if you get cooked on a play, so what? Next play. Let's play ball. Like if you miss a tackle, all right, hope you don't do too much of that, but it's okay. Next play, let's play some ball. You're going to see that help him, and I think he's going to start early in the process.
Hey, we remember last year before he got injured, Aubrey Pleasant. Remember Aubrey Pleasant in his ear hole on the sideline? Remember that went viral after a while? But Jeff Okudah was coming on, man. He was starting to play better. He was starting to have more. You could see it in him. Let's face it, man. The guy came here with the weight of the world on his shoulders, drafted to be the savior of the Quinn Patricia era. and it just didn't work out, man. The kid couldn't have started out with more on his shoulders than this guy did, and we're all rooting for him to make it all the way back here and to show what he can do.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if necessarily the weight of the world was on his shoulders when he got drafted, but I know they put him in a bad position.
Yeah.
I know Quinn Tricia.
I meant by those guys.
Oh, yeah, they put him in a terrible position, didn't coach him up well, and then when he got hurt and then when things were said about him, nobody was there for him to talk about or help him or have his back. So you're right. They just put him in an awful position.
And I do think the weight of the world was on his shoulders a little bit. At that time, it wasn't like Stingley and Sauce. When Jeff Okudah was taken 2 years ago, he was, I believe, the first or the highest drafted cornerback in like 30 years since Sean Springs or something like that. So I do think that adds to a little bit of pressure when you're coming into your first season. Now these other guys, doesn't matter where you get. It feels like you could take anybody. You could take a tight end number one if you wanted to these days, probably.
A little bit.
I mean, I'm being facetious there.
I was more so I wasn't even worried about the last part, just the first part. What you said. I mean, a little bit. I mean, at the end of the day, he's a DB. Go out there and play. Like, you go out there, you get put in bad spots, but go out there and play. Being a DB doesn't matter where you're drafted at because you're not depending on a quarterback to get you the ball. You're not depending on an offensive line to block for you. When you're playing DB, you're depending on your technique that you've learned to that point, but you're also depending on the defense. So, a little bit.
And let's face it, this is more about injuries too than anything else. I mean, he's been injured, and now he'll be healthy, hopefully. Guys, NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year odds are out. Where's our guy land? Jameson Williams, kind of middle of the pack. Pretty good odds on him. The odds-on favorite to win Rookie of the Year is Chris Olave. Olave has Jameis Winston throwing to him. I always like to know if you tell me who's Offensive Player of the Year. Like, for instance, Drake London, okay? Drake London went to Atlanta, did he not?
Yeah.
Drake London ain't winning Rookie of the Year.
First guy off the board.
Drake London ain't winning Rookie of the Year. Do you know why Drake London's not winning Rookie of the Year?
Because Marcus Mariota's throwing to him?
Yes. That's right. Now, Chris Olave, I think he's got a chance. Jameis will throw it up there and let you go get it. Jameis is a 30-touchdown guy in this league.
And 30 picks.
Yeah, that's true. But there you see Jameson Williams at plus 1,400. I'm not sure where or when Williams will be healthy.
Is Kenneth Walker on there?
Yeah, he is.
Where
Kenneth
is
Walker is above Jameson Williams. Christian Watson is above Jameson Williams as well.
I bet on Kenneth Walker.
I don't like the team because I don't think Kenneth Walker has a chance to win Offensive Rookie of the Year because, again, I don't believe in Drew Lock. If all you have to do is stop the run in Seattle now, Kenneth Walker III is not. This has nothing to do with Kenneth Walker.
They must believe in him.
This has nothing to do with Kenneth Walker. This has everything to do with their quarterback and the offense that they're running there. They don't have anybody to throw anybody the ball.
Well, they still have DK Metcalf.
Yeah, but
you still got Tyler Lockett. He just drafted two people.
They got great wide receivers, but Drew Lock is a terrible quarterback.
They don't think so.
Exactly. They like him. They've added to the offensive line per the draft. So, that's an interesting thing. I don't necessarily, in terms of Chris Olave, you're wondering who's throwing him the ball. You're wondering if it's going to be Jameis Winston. Is it going to be Taysom Hill? You're wondering who it's going to be. Or Simeon out of Northwestern. But I remember, I want to say the year before I got drafted, I want to say Mike Clayton was Offensive Rookie of the Year. He was Offensive Rookie of the Year. I don't remember his quarterback. I think it's maybe.
Who did?
Mike Clayton, wide receiver out of LSU. He won Rookie of the Year 2004 season. All of those people drafted in that class, he was Rookie of the Year in that class. I don't remember the quarterback.
I don't even know what. I never even heard of him.
He played for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He was a wide receiver on that.
Oh, I know him now. Yeah. That would have to be probably Brad Johnson, Super Bowl winning quarterback, though.
So is Trent Dilfer.
Well, I'm just saying.
So pump the brakes. I love Big Bad Brad.
Right.
Pump the brakes.
I'm just saying, though, too, and the game is much different than it was 20 years ago. I mean, you're going back 18 years ago.
You going to make me feel that old?
Yeah. I mean,
that's how you do your boy?
2004, you're going back nearly 20 years.
Okay, I'll do you one better. The third wide receiver on the NFL team now has over 90 catches. So, yeah, it has evolved to the way I'm talking about. Chris Olave could easily win player.
Absolutely could. Especially if Jameis is throwing him the ball.
If anybody's throwing him the ball, because they're going to be feeding him and feeding him and feeding him. Not to mention Alvin Kamara. Not to mention he won't even be the number one option.
Kamara even playing this year?
Because guess who's coming back? Michael
Thomas coming back this year? He decided to play?
Yeah.
How about the Saints? They got Honey Badger.
He decided to play this year.
The Saints got Honey Badger.
That is a darn good move. You know where he's from. He's a New Orleans kid. Or, excuse me, he's a Louisiana kid. everywhere he's been, they've won. Yeah. Everywhere he's been. You look at Arizona. He got drafted to Arizona 2014, 2015. They make the playoffs berth. In fact, 2014, they went to the conference championship, if I'm correct. They went to the conference championship and lost to the Carolina Panthers, who will go on to win the Super Bowl. He goes to Houston for, 1 year? Houston made the playoffs that 1 year he was there. And then Kansas City for the last 4 years. Obviously, you saw what he did there. Won a championship, won the Super Bowl, got the Super Bowl twice. So
they got a great defense to begin with.
He's just a winner, which goes back to why you asked the question. Why do you take Derek Stingley Jr. over Sauce Gardner, who's not injured, who's never been injured, who's healthy? Why do you take him? Because one went to LSU, which is DBU, and one went to Cincinnati.
Hey, will you throw those odds up one more time? Because as I'm looking at past Rookie of the Year, last year, wide receiver Jamar Chase won Rookie of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year. Take a look at Breece Hall plus 800, and maybe, guys, maybe you're right. Kenneth Walker III plus 1,100, because if you look at this list, it almost seems exclusively quarterback, running back, with the exception of Jamar Chase last year, with the exception of, but before last, then you had to go back to Odell Beckham in 14. So there's a 7-year gap before another wide receiver won the award. And that, so since 2010, only 2 wide receivers have won Offensive Rookie of the Year.
And that's BS, because who won Offensive Rookie of the Year? Oh, never mind.
What?
No, that makes. I was about to crucify myself. I was gonna say, who won Offensive Rookie 2 years ago? It should have been Justin Jefferson, but I forgot there was a guy by the name of Justin Herbert.
And then Kyler Murray before him.
Oh yeah.
Saquon Barkley, Alvin Kamara,
Justin
Dak
Jefferson could have
Prescott. Man, you think about Todd Gurley in 2015, Offensive Rookie of the Year in 2015.
Now.
And then completely out of the league,
like
man. Incredible.
6-year career.
What school did he go to?
Todd Gurley?
Yeah.
Georgia. What's that got to do with it?
Georgia running backs.
Georgia running backs, man.
Except Herschel.
Even Herschel to a certain extent.
Nah,
yeah.
he lasted a long time.
Yeah.
He lasted, but he wasn't putting up production.
All right, guys, going to take a break. When we come back, we'll take a look at where Ermanni Bates potentially could be going.
And why he did leave Memphis. There's some word on the street
we got some gossip.
We got some gossip.
Straight
swing
gossip.
that tea this way.
But first, a message from MyBookie.
That's right. You can bet baseball. You got the NHL playoffs going on now. NBA playoffs down to the final 8. You can do it all on MyBookie, MyBookie.com. Make sure you use the promo code Woodward. Double your first deposit all the way up to $1,000. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. If you have a gambling problem, use the Michigan Problem Gambling Hotline, 1-800-270-7117.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
Woodward Sports Network. Going to get back to this Ryan Tannehill story momentarily, but just a quick update, Maz, on Ermanni Bates. You were saying earlier about Ermanni Bates and why he was leaving Memphis.
Why he entered the transfer portal. Well, you always think it's the kid that wants to enter the transfer portal. But when it comes down to it, and I read this from Corey Woods, our own Corey Woods, and he put it out saying that there was some word on the street in Memphis that it was kind of Ermanni Bates throwing coaches under the buses, throwing players under the bus. And they kind of said, hey, why don't you just take your stuff and beat it, kid, is basically what Corey Woods wrote.
That's pretty interesting.
About Ermanni Bates. Yeah, so it wasn't a good fit. We all know that. Remember, he was sitting. How many games did he play? Not that many.
Well, if something doesn't work out, it's never my fault. It's your fault, right?
Hell yeah.
right? I mean, that's just the way. That's what we're instilling right now.
So they're essentially trying to say it was Ermanni Bates' fault. He put himself in a position to have to leave and to want to leave.
You know what? I hope he comes to Michigan. I really do.
He's down to 16.
I really do, because Michigan is on his final list.
Yeah, so is Eastern Michigan.
And Eastern Michigan is too. But I really feel like Ermanni Bates personally, as a person, as a kid, will benefit from being around Juwan Howard in the University of Michigan program. Like, I feel like that.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And we talked about this when the news first came out. You say whenever someone goes to play, when they go away from home to go to school, and then it doesn't work at that school, they typically come back close to home because they want to be around family. They want to be around friends. They want to be around familiarity. And I think even beyond that, the familiarity that he needs to be around is Juwan Howard. You saw what he does for his players. You see the way in which the players interact with the coaching staff at Michigan. You see the way in which the love for Juwan Howard has with his players, the players have for Juwan Howard. I mean, why do you think Hunter Dickinson is coming back? Outside of wanting to, I was going to say outside of wanting to run it back, outside of wanting the NIL money, because it might be more than, it's neither here nor there. But it's because he loves Juwan Howard. Yeah. It's because he wants to play for Juwan Howard. It's because he trusts Juwan Howard. So I want Ermanni Bates to be around some of that love, some of that trust, because he deserves it.
Here's the quote from the Memphis people. Bates' behavior along conversations he had with Memphis recruits about head coach Penny Hardaway are some factors that led to him being told he can, quote, pack his stuff and go. There you go.
Pretty harsh reality for the young man, and we just hope it works out for him. And of course, our friends on the YouTube chat quickly right away. Well, maybe Juwan might slap him. Benjamin Foe. Thanks, buddy.
No. This is what he does. He slaps coaches that are trying to get to his players.
Right.
He ain't slapping his players.
Right. But maybe this player, well, I shouldn't say that because no player deserves to be have their player, but tongue in cheek, maybe a little kick in the rear end wouldn't hurt.
This is a PC culture nowadays. Right, you can tell me that off air.
Heaven forbid, a little kick in the rear end for the young man might help him.
Good.
Might help him in life.
Lloyd metaphorically kicked me in the butt a couple times, and it gets the engine going, and gets the best out of you.
Guys, so Ryan Tannehill, switching back to the NFL. Ryan Tannehill apparently has told people it's not my job to mentor Malik Willis.
Aaron Rodgers Jr.
This is from Pro Football Talk. Mike Florio there, Pro Football Talk. I don't think it's my job to mentor Malik Willis.
Nice job, Tannehill.
So just moments ago, Kurt Warner, Hall of Famer, Super Bowl champion, NFL Network commentator, movie star. Well, his story,
biopic,
was a movie.
It looked horrible.
He sends out a tweet saying, "I will never understand the I'm not here to mentor the next guy mentality. So for all you young QBs that need a mentor, DM me and I'll be that guy. Happy to help in any way I can." How great is that from Kurt Warner?
I love him.
Isn't the goal to win a championship? So, why wouldn't you want to help along the backup quarterback in that room? And I think that's why Dan Orlovsky has such respect for Matt Stafford and such respect for John Kitna before him, because the way those two players mentored Dan Orlovsky helped create him. I truly believe that. It's your job to help along the next guy at your regular job, in your NFL team, wherever you are.
You see this primarily with quarterbacks. To answer your question, the goal is to win. The goal is to win, but primarily when you get starting quarterbacks, they feel as though their job isn't to coach the guy behind them, to steal their job. So some of those guys have that mindset, say, hey, I don't want to coach this guy up to steal my job. Those are typically the players that shouldn't have the job anyway. So when you see someone like a Ryan Tannehill make a comment like this, that's because he knows he shouldn't have the job anyway. And that's because he knows his days are numbered. His days are numbered till Malik Willis takes his job and then moves the franchise forward. So that's why he acts like this. Look, you got to pay it forward. Your job as a player is to pay it back. Because I don't care along what line or where you were, Maz, Ryan, At some point, somebody helped you. I don't care if it was Little League. I don't care if it was high school. Maybe it was at Michigan. Maybe it was at the Cleveland Browns. Maybe it was with the New York Jets. Maybe it was with the 49ers. I played for a lot of teams. Somewhere along the way, somebody helped me. Somebody gave me some knowledge. Somebody said, hey, you know what? You want to turn your hands this way. I noticed you got your hands down. You're placing your hands when the ball's below the waist. You don't have your hands like that because you push the ball into the ground. You flip them. You open them up. Little things like that go a very long way. Somebody gave Ryan Tannehill some information because he was a wide receiver, if I'm not correct, and then became a quarterback at Texas A&M. You think he did that on his own? Somebody gave him some advice. Somebody told him, hey, you know what? Why not this? Why not take your drop this way? Not a lot of arm movement in the pocket. Somebody helped you out. You got to pay it forward. That's your job as a player. Pay the information forward.
Tannehill got the Titans what? Didn't they get the #1 seed last year in the AFC? And they've
not last year, the year before last.
No, this past year they were #1 seed.
They were.
They were number one.
Derrick Henry. They
were number one.
They got nipped
because they did it without Derrick.
You're right.
They shouldn't have lost that game, by the way. He threw that game away.
He threw a pick in the first play of the game or something like that.
That's what he does.
He did.
Well, and again, I don't like it when Aaron Rodgers does it, but I certainly don't like it when Ryan Tannehill does it. I mean, he's no Aaron Rodgers.
Mike Tannenbaum, Ryan
Tannehill. I mean, Jameis Winston.
I was with you.
Jameson Williams having a tough time here.
And it's like nobody ever said that you were God's gift to the quarterback because you're not. Like, and I understand you made a Pro Bowl, and I'm happy that you had a resurgence from Miami to Tennessee. I'm happy that you had the success that you had on Derrick Henry's back. But come on, fam. Like, it's not like you sitting here with Josh Allen's skill. It's not like you're sitting here with Aaron Rodgers' skill and you're making this comment. Even then, we can break the comment down, but it's like, I mean, he is the GOAT. It's Ryan Tannehill, man. Be happy to help this young kid. You see that smile? How could you not want to help him?
He'll walk it back. He'll walk those comments back now.
He better
when
because
when he's sitting on that bench.
He could become, especially the way in which the season ended last year against Cincinnati, where he threw a couple of picks. Terrible game for Ryan Tannehill. And now these comments, that's how you become enemy number one in your city. That's how you become enemy number one in your city. When you crap the bed in a playoff game, and then ultimately you come back with a comment like that to a guy that's really done nothing to you ever other than be picked by your team.
And don't forget, they were one of those teams in those 2019 playoffs, or was it 2020, 2019 playoffs, that the Kansas City Chiefs came back to beat. So they were in the lead in the AFC Championship. They were in the lead, and Ryan Tannehill happened. So I'd be careful if I was you, because the Tennessee Titans fan base, they remember that. When you do it one year, it's like, oh, okay, well, we'll see next year. He got us there. We hadn't been there. Now that he's done it a couple years in a row, and you make a comment like that, not for long, man.
Vrabel's going to use Malik Willis in some packages,
Absolutely.
just like they do across the NFL.
Lance.
Yeah, Troy Lance. It's going to happen. These young quarterbacks that have been taken, they're going to see some action this year because teams like Atlanta, Carolina, they're not going to win. They're not going to win. But they're going to have a chance to showcase what their young guys got.
I'm curious to see how good Trey Lance is this year. I think for whatever reason, he's the quarterback to me that I'm kind of really interested in.
We didn't see anything.
Three #1 picks for him.
Right, because I almost feel like the San Francisco 49ers are just like the Washington football team. That they got a really damn good football team, but no quarterback. Washington, since 2018, has had 10 different starting quarterbacks.
Yeah. Jimmy G is still in San Francisco.
Jimmy G
he ain't
is still
gonna
in
get moved.
San Francisco.
He's not getting moved. He's there.
Why we talked the very first time that we talked to Mike Tannenbaum, one of the first questions I asked him, I said, what do you feel about the Jimmy G, Trey Lance situation? What are they going to do there? He said, I wouldn't move him. Mike Tannenbaum has stood firmly on that belief he wouldn't move him. You got two quarterbacks, one in which got you to an NFC championship twice and a Super Bowl. I wouldn't move him. Why?
Who's a better quarterback, Jared Goff or Jimmy G? Kind of the same guy, right?
I think they're the same.
Kind of the same
only
guy.
Only difference is one is smooth, the other one is like Jimmy G. Jimmy G's Jimmy G. You know, Jared Goff, very nice guy.
Right.
Jimmy G's Jimmy G.
But Jimmy G, man, he throws some wicked interceptions.
Yeah.
Wicked.
Well, you know what's wicked? Lady Jane's. It's wicked awesome.
Yes,
we are going to take a break. Come right back with Maz's videos of the day. We'll put a bow on it. But first, video of the day. But first, the message from SMA.
The sports marketing agency help spread awareness about mental health as well as substance abuse. The new podcast, This is the F Word, helps spread awareness about fentanyl and other addictions. If you or someone you know needs help or you may need help, feel free to visit the website. That's how you can start. That's all it takes. Understanding, taking the first step. TheSportsMA.com. TheSportsMA.com. Sean Jordan, those guys are amazing. I've been working with them for the last 5 years. TheSportsMA.com.
Life is full of hard choices. We're here to make one of life's biggest decisions as simple as possible. My name is Christina Gennari, and for over 20 years, I've helped hundreds of families buy and sell homes. We cover all of Metro Detroit and more, from large luxury homes to starter homes. We will work hard to make sure that you get the home of your dreams. So if you're in the market today or even thinking about buying or selling in the future, make the obvious choice. Christina Gennari, the obvious choice in real estate. Visit us at soldchristina.com today.
Fellas, let's be honest. We like things to be easy. We like simple stuff, like sports 7 days a week. We like things uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Tonight's Tigers game between the Tigers and the Pirates has been postponed. They will play a day-night doubleheader tomorrow, I believe.
I think so.
Is that what it is? It starts at 1 o'clock. Maybe it's a true doubleheader.
Then they get out of town. They go to Houston after this.
I got to go back and look at that. They will play a doubleheader tomorrow. I got to look at that. Maybe it's a split. I shouldn't say.
I'm pretty sure it's a split.
Okay.
Because today's game will probably be played. Well, they'll be played during the day.
Yeah.
And the night game will be. Well, then again, you better check.
I better check. Maz, you're really excited about the NHL playoffs.
I started watching them. Hey, look, I didn't watch a lot of hockey this year. I'm not going to lie. Red Wings have been in the toilet. The Devils are in the toilet. Islanders were in the toilet this year. Rangers.
Why were the Islanders so bad this year, by the way?
I don't know. Maybe they moved to that new barn. They didn't like it. I don't know why, but Barry Trotz did not have them ready. But the Leafs, Canes, Wild, and Kings all take a 1-0 lead last night. Tonight, you got game ones. The Rangers and the Penguins, Capitals, Panthers, Predators, and Avalanche, Stars, and Flames in the NHL. There's your bracket in case you wanted to take a look at that. But NHL, I got to hear my main man last night, a guy that we had on during the college football season, Sean McDonough.
Yeah.
Calling a game. And, man, he calls a hell of a game.
He does.
He does. He calls. I can just listen to him. But I damn wish that they had Gary Thorne and Bill Clement still doing these games. I miss Doc Emmerich, of course. Stuff like that. The games are on ESPN and TNT. I try to enjoy as much as I can. I just wasn't into hockey this year like I've been in the past.
Back to a Tigers note. Tigers games tomorrow, a true doubleheader. 1:10 is the first game, and then 4:40
because it's like getaway day
is game 2.
Yeah.
I told D-Mac, he and Easy were talking, I want to say earlier this year, they were talking about who would you rather play in the first round. I think something around there. I could be off. But it was between Tampa and a couple other teams.
The Leafs?
And the Leafs. And I told D-Mac then and there, I said, you'd rather play Tampa this year. 1, there's no such thing as a 3-peat. They're not 3-peat. And I said, and 2, I said, Tampa, it's not your year. This is the Leafs' year. Austin Matthews has been rolling.
1967.
Led the league in scoring this year, 60 goals. First player to do it, I think, in years and years and years. But Austin is just fun to watch. Had 2 goals last night.
I'd like to see
They
him
ended up
win.
winning 5-0. I'm telling you, I told D-Mac, if I could tell D-Mac he was wrong about something that had to do with hockey, you can't tell me nothing.
Canada hasn't won in I don't know how long.
I think since...
Montreal.
When did Montreal win?
No, the Canadians won. Didn't they win a couple of years ago?
Hey, listen, one series
at a time.
at a
that was the
time.
Leafs.
No, they did not. No, they did not.
No, that
One
was
series
the,
at a time. One series at a time.
How big of a series is this for Ken Holland in Edmonton?
Pretty darn big.
Yeah,
pretty darn big. I'd like to see at least the Oilers win a series to start that off.
And they lost last night.
They lost last night to the Kings,
4-3.
Yep.
They got the most exciting player in hockey on their team now. And Connor McDavid. Oh my God!
But you wouldn't be able to pick him out in a crowd.
You couldn't pick Mike Trout out if we didn't do what we do.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Time of the day we like to play Maz's video of the day.
Oh, sing.
And now it's time for Maz's videos of the day, only on the Woodward Sports Network.
Hey guys out there, I know you remember your wedding day if you did get married. and you get married, and there's a game going on. And your team is playing, and you're like, damn, I can't believe I'm freaking getting married today.
Oh, this is great.
Check out this groom.
I saw this.
Groom walking down the aisle asking about the Celtics score.
So great.
They lost.
They lost?
They lost.
How do you get married on that day? Well,
It's
I
tough.
guess there's only so many in
There's
May.
only so many days you could pick.
So one of my good friends, Richard Simeon, played hockey, went to Fordham. I have introduced you guys to him during the Tin Roof Days downtown pregame. At his wedding, it was on Saturday, the Michigan and Florida game.
Wow.
I was like, come on. And I was in it. I had to stand up in the whole 9 yards. It was an honor. Excuse me. So I'm like, come on, Simeon. It's Florida, Michigan. You're going to have to do something. You're going to have to do something. I was trying to get this man to change his wedding because of the Florida-Michigan game. So I'm like on my phone, like during the wedding in the Catholic church, watching the game. Obviously, Michigan ended up destroying Florida that year. But
I had to go to a wedding.
I was pissed.
My wife's cousin's wedding the night of the Michigan State game. Oh, he fumbled the snap. The ball is free on the ground.
Oh, my God.
I am
Speaking
literally.
of Sean McDonough.
Well, I am literally in my car listening to Jim Brandstatter.
Surprised he hasn't. I'm glad you didn't crash.
No, I'm listening. Well, I was parked. Because I was like, "Oh, we got this. We're winning. We got this." I leave, and I go, and it's still like close or whatever. So I was like, "Well, I'm just gonna listen to it on the radio before I actually go into the wedding." So I'm parked in the parking lot. And then I don't even remember what Brandstatter said, but I could not really fully understand what he was saying. And I'm thinking to myself, what's all this hollering and all this commotion? And man, oh man, because back then I wasn't watching the TV on my phone either. In 2015.
I could top that. 1991.
2016,
my
whatever
sister
it was.
Christine's getting married to my brother-in-law Guy at the time. And it's Game 7. It's the Braves and the Twins. Remember the John Smoltz, Jack Morris 1-0 game that went in extra innings?
Yep.
Well, I spent most of my time at the bar on top of a chair watching that game, and then I fell off the chair. And I thought I broke my ankle. They wound up taking me to the freaking emergency room at the end of my sister's wedding.
Oh, my God.
I'm in the emergency room. The game's still going on, but the TV is in the other room. I literally got off the table and I crawled over to the TV to watch the last inning of that game.
Oh, my God.
I wasn't broke, by the way, but I was not watching that game. My family still to this day will never forgive me for doing that at my sister Christine's wedding. I am sorry, Chris.
My God.
And Kai.
Hey, hell of a day today. I'll tell you, having Stan back in the house on Tuesdays was great, and his perspective on NIL, name, image, likeness was really good. I really enjoyed that conversation, and of course, Lions talk as well. Mike Tannenbaum, Braylon's former general manager with the Jets, also general manager and president of the Miami Dolphins, now an ESPN NFL insider. He joined us. Pretty much agreed with Maz and I, by the way, at the quarterback situation. So everybody on YouTube and Twitter, screw you.
Suck it.
So I'll be smiling
By
tonight.
the way, is Mel still in business, right?
Who?
Mel Kiper.
Oh, Mel Kiper,
Yeah,
he's in business.
How many years now?
39 years.
39 years. And how many wrong picks has he had?
Yep.
He's still going.
Right.
You guys are still trying to beat Mel.
Yep.
Get in line, man.
Get in line, baby. Get in line. Braylon, great effort out of you today, as always, my friend.
Bart Scott, finally. That's what I've been doing.
Bart Scott.
Bart Scott agreed. So I've been working on that.
We got Bart?
We got Bart.
Oh yeah, Bart Scott.
Can't wait.
Baby.
We got Bart.
Can't wait. Gotta get you some felons. You need at least 2 felons.
Had to send my boy out with a bang.
On your teams.
man.
All right, so we'll talk to Bart Scott soon.
We'll definitely soon.
We'll get him soon.
Trying to get for Thursday.
Look at that.
That's somebody's last day, but then Friday if not.
All right, for sure, man. Get us out of here, Bray. Say bye to the
tremendous day. The weather outside sucks, but guess what? You, bottom line, our
Always
fans, you
sucks.
did not. We came We saw, we conquered. Appreciate you for this Tuesday. Flannel Sam, Alex Mayer, Fletch in the booth now. My man Maz over there, and Ryan.
Yeah.
We're going to get you guys out of here at the bottom line. Tigers, doubleheader tomorrow. Game actually be going on while we're on the show.
That's right. So we'll be the only show in town.
There you go. I'm excited for that, though. But hey, you guys be safe in this weather. And as always,
be easy.
Be easy, baby. I was looking for something.